Hi everyone, it's Jerry. I have an instructive game to share with you from the 2025 Champions Chess Tour Chess.com Classic. This is a grand final, game number 1. On the white end, Magnus Carlsen playing against Maxime Vachier-Lagrave. We have on board a Sicilian defense. This win by Carlsen ended up helping him win the whole event. Yet another event he takes down. Follow up from here, tiny move, h3. Okay, you don't have to worry about any pins. No piece jumps to g4. You will see energetic play in some cases. In the game, knight c6 is played if a6. You will find some games in the database where g4 is played very early on now. h3 is there supporting this idea. Not how Carlsen plays it in this one. More standard approach after knight c6 plays in the center. Duo broken up. e5, and now the knight falls back here to f3. Now, from here we have h6. If bishop e6 is played straight away to try and cover the weakened d5 square, this hole, that'll run into knight g5. So, first h6. White is able to get there first. Bishop e6. And from here we have bishop b3. Carlsen not interested in capturing here on e6 and giving black doubled pawns. That would be a good thing for black in that case, repairing d5 in the end. And also there'd be that file for rook once castled. So the bishop backs off, takes the you take me approach. Bishop e7, same sides castles game. Now, before white can hop into d5, you have to take some care over e4, so rook e1 it is. Black from here plays rook c8. A move I want to touch on here is knight a5. Computer has its eye on this one, hunting the light square bishop. What's happening in this case? This piece turns out to be a real menace in this game. What if black goes hunting for it? Here's how you can approach such a position or such a move. Those of you who are more positionally minded will likely appreciate this particular variation. Knight h2 is available. We're seeing, at least in this case, an additional point behind h3. This knight has an interesting pivot here. Not only the h2 square, but this follow-up g4 square. And this will influence black's control over d5 with knight captures knight now right around the corner. Do know white is prepared to take on these double g pawns. It's not an issue. The resulting structure is healthy. Pawns on light, bishop on dark. It's complemented well. And from there, white is already looking to maybe hop into that d5 square. So some moves like this, take some cover over c2, you're ready to jump into the d5 post. Anyhow, it's a maneuver that is available, something that maybe should instinctively cross your mind as soon as this knight does move, because as it stands right now, these two are competing for these same center squares. So you're going to go elsewhere? Well, maybe I feel a bit more comfortable going elsewhere with my knight. There would no longer be that fight over, let's say, this d4 square. As it's played in this game, the rook hops to a half-open file. Knight hops into d5. Bishop captures knight. Pawn captures. Knight a5. Trying to track the bishop? Well, not so fast. Bishop sticks around. From here, knight d7. After knight d7, c3 is played. What black is gearing up for is an f5 advance by playing knight to d7. I should mention that as soon as this pawn captured here on d5, we have a shift, a significant shift with the structure. Carlsen playing with the queenside majority, 4 versus 3, and black has the same majority on the king side. How the computer is looking at it, another move a computer touches on here, it's looking at knight c4, and in the event of knight c4, if Carlsen responds in the same way, plays c3 here, like he does in response to knight d7, there is this move queen a5, and this pawn will be won. Now, the computer still says it's even. It's looking at a knight maneuver into this f5 square in the meantime. There's probably some lengthy line where the bishop is a nuisance and that compensates for the pawn loss. Okay, it's not a path black goes for, opening up this square for the queen with knight c4. It's knight d7, clearing the way for the f pawn to roll. f5 it is. From here, bishop c2. What's going on with this bishop? Well, it's pointing towards the king side. It's also, we might say, eyeing indirectly a hole, a g6 square. Follow up from here, queen b6, some coverage for the b2 pawn. Follow up rook f7, flexible move. This square opens up for a few black pieces. a4, some space on the queen side, maybe hinting at a follow-up b4, kicking the knight, and then a5 grabbing a little bit more space on the queen side, complementing that pawn on d5, a pawn on a5. Now, an idea like this is committal. You have to weigh this very carefully if you're going with such a plan. I say this because as soon as you play b4, the c pawn may be yelling at you after the game. It'd be backward. Still, this may be an idea. Follow up bishop b3, maybe queen e2, and you try and demonstrate the knight on c2 is maybe, has to continually be watched over. Is that an inconvenience for black to have to continually watch over that piece? It must be weighed carefully. As it stands now, he's not fully committed just yet to b4, but a4 is maybe a step in this direction. Now, this clearly has MVL's attention. His response at this stage, he only spent about a couple seconds here. He ends up playing queen to c7, so I believe he was prepared to respond to this b4 move with queen captures c3 now, and there's an issue on c2. So the battery is formed at this stage. Let me throw this position to you as a pop quiz. How would you respond here? Feel free to pause the video. Okay, pretty much the winning idea here for Carlsen. He goes with g4. Now, before playing g4, he probably had to see about 6 moves ahead. What's going to happen shortly, this f-file is going to open up, and what's available to black is a battery on the f-file. So he apparently has a move up his sleeve in response to this pressure by the black rooks. There's a big difference between the rooks in the position. White rooks not really doing a whole lot. Black rooks can be doing something on the f-file in just a few. In the game, we see pawn captures pawn, pawn captures, and rook on c to f8 is played. Now, after this move, it says that white is completely winning. The only way to try and stay in the game, it says take some care over your light squares. It wants to play knight to f8 here, covering these squares here, anticipating this battery. Queen h7 follow-up. Even in this situation, it's very good for white. Bishop f5 is a move, and it already points out you should be getting rid of this piece. Exchange, sacrifice. If you don't, it's saying you could take some slower approach. This remains a dominant piece. A slower approach from here, b3, removing a square from the knight, bit sidelined. You could play in this way without fear of queen c3. There's bishop d2, an issue on a5, queen c5. There's a follow-up fork with b4. It's big trouble for black. Light square issues even in this position here. Okay, how does black play it? He goes with the battery. Follow up from here, queen d3. This is what he had prepared. He's okay giving up the knight. That's how black plays it. Takes the knight here, and this is going to lead straight to mate. What other option does black have? If you try to cover h7 with knight f6, the queen slips into g6. What a pest. Setting up now. Bishop takes h6 because of the pin. She cannot be kicked off of this square so easily. If you play king h8, there's g5. This is crushing. Knight is attacked. You take here. Knight captures. Knight e6 moves. It's a total disaster on the light squares for black. Anything else? There's one other way you could maybe try to keep the queen out of h7. Playing g5 in this case, you could save the knight. And even think about one move later, queen g6, cleaning house, taking on h6, maybe queen e6 for instance, queen c4, check, rook block, queen e6, the knight is going to be tracked next. If the rook tries to keep the queen out of g6 here, you can take a slower approach. There's no rush here. You can recycle this knight here, knight f1 to g3. It's a moment away from being a top piece, pound for pound, in the position. Getting the queens off will still not save black. Completely compromised light squares here. So how black plays it, swipes the knight, and as mentioned, this goes straight to mate. Queen h7 check, king f7, only move, bishop g6 check, king f6, only move, and after bishop h5, black resigns. Who's going to keep the queen out of g6? Nobody. Cannot be controlled. Computer's pointing out silly moves at this point to delay mate. Rook g3, you take a rook. Queen c5, you block a check, punch back. That's hardly going to be an answer. Here's the thing. Even if a square opens up for the king, let's say bishop d8, it'll be mate in 2. Queen g6 check, queen e6, mate. And if for some reason you thought, well, let me open up a center square, it would be the same story, check and checkmate. Crushing game here, only a 24 mover. Positional throughout until that g4 idea, breaking down those light squares, and these two pieces were enough to do the job of the queen and that light square bishop. Anyhow, what are your thoughts with this one? Feel free as usual to leave any feedback to this video in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed it and maybe took a thing or two away. That's all for now. Take care.